Well, the Ukrainian military now says that Russian paratroopers have started to land in the second largest city of Ukraine, that is Kharkiv. Now, this is coming in as there is a confirmation that we're now getting from the Ukrainian military, which says that they have reported these paratroopers now entering the city of Kharkiv. Kharkiv, of course, has seen heavy fighting over the last 6 days or so as Russia continues its assault of Ukraine. Let's go across to Crispino, who's joining us from the News Hub now to give us more details of what's taking place as fighting for Kharkiv intensifies. Good morning, Crispino. Give us more details of what you're learning about the fighting over there.
It's day 7 and Kharkiv is putting up a brave front against the Russian forces. What we're looking at as the latest videos here that the firefighters have joined in to douse the flames after an airstrike by Russia in Kharkiv. You can look here how the tanks and warehouses being destroyed here. But on your screens also right now, you can see how, we're looking at flames emanating from different areas of Kharkiv as the paratroopers have landed in the city there. Now, remember, this is the second largest city in Kharkiv, in Ukraine. Kharkiv is the second largest city, and then you can see the flames emanating from that area. Kharkiv under assault on day 7.
All right, thank you, Crispino, for bringing us that update. All right, our reporters, of course, are continuing to bring us the latest from various areas in Europe. Shivani Sharma is bringing us the latest from the Polish city of Lubliv, I think. Shivani, good morning. Give us a sense of what's happening where you are reporting from. Now, this, of course, is one of the important border crossing that we are also seeing Indian students come into. And the other aspect, of course, Shivani, just look at the number of women and children and refugees which are now streaming into Poland. Give us an overall sense of what's happening where you're reporting from.
A very good morning to you and to all our viewers. I'm in Poland's Lublin, which happens to be a city equally distant to Warsaw, the capital of Poland, and also to Belarus. Belarus happens to be the launchpad of Russian troops, and very important in view of the talks that are happening. Today, the second round of talks has to take place, and all eyes are on these talks, whether there will be a truce or the war will get worsened. That's the very important question, a very serious question, because there's an impact of what's happening in Ukraine on all these European nations also. We have seen the borders through, we have seen the borders in Slovakia, in Hungary, in Poland, how the evacuation drive is going on, intensifying. The Operation Ganga is being intensified. Already one C-17 of the Indian Air Force has left the country to come to Romania with not.
The air attacks have intensified. Yesterday, the day 6 had begun with a bombing on the civil buildings in Kharkiv, and today, the day 7, the day has just started, and we will be getting more news from what's happening inside Ukraine, inside Kharkiv. But one thing that's very important to mention out here is that yesterday, the strategy of the Russians took a turn, and now they have started dropping their paratroopers through helicopters. The airborne systems, their units, have started arriving near Kharkiv, and this is the second stage of their strategy. We saw how they started with the air attacks, then the movement of their artillery was seen there, and now the troopers.
The movement of their artillery was seen there, and now the troopers are going inside, and they say that there have been civilians who have been fighting, the Ukrainian civilians who have been fighting the Russian forces, and for that matter, they need to be on ground with their forces. So the situation remains quite tense, even in the cities across the border. I'm talking about the cities that share their border with Ukraine, be it Poland, be it Hungary, be it Slovakia. So all these European Union nations are also facing the wrath of the wars because there is an impact in the movement of people. We've seen how on the borders the movements are now restricted. In initial 6 days, the police was allowing free movement But now, as the borders are getting blocked, getting choked, police is intensifying its search. It's not able to manage the movement that easily as it was being done initially, because more than 5 lakh people from Ukraine have already taken siege in these European Union nations. And now it's getting difficult for the authorities to check the movement, to allow the free passage. So in view of the intensifying attacks, the situation is getting quite grim, Nupur, and it's a worrisome situation not only in Ukraine but across the border in these European Union nations. And if we talk about the support, there have been sermons, there have been sanctions, there have been statements, but as of now we do not see any NATO movement inside Poland, though we've been getting inputs that there are forces that are building up, they are showing their readiness, they are showing their solidarity with Ukraine, but as of now no movements are seen. Yet there have been sanctions and statements. So all in all, we are trying to get more inputs from ground, from these borders where the evacuation is going on, where the impact is seen, and how the life is affected in European Union too due to the Russian-Ukrainian war.
Right, absolutely, Shivani. Now, one of the things which countries like Poland actually have to deal with is the large number of refugees which are streaming in. Estimates till yesterday seem to suggest about 6 lakh people have already come into various countries of the European Union. What is Poland doing to make sure that these refugees are well taken care of?
Welcoming to all.
There have been border checkpoints at Lviv. There have been evacuation drives that still continue. There have been free movements from various border points for others, for all the citizens, not only from India. And Poland has already accommodated lakhs of people who have come to take refuge inside Poland, and they are still welcoming. But as I said, that initially the movement was easy. Now more and more people are coming inside Poland because the situation is getting worse inside Ukraine. So it's not very easy because, even as we talk here, we stand here, the temperatures are as low as 1 degree. And it's quite difficult to stay exposed in such temperatures, and the temperature further goes down in the border areas. This is a city, this is a town. So it's very difficult to facilitate thousands of people who are present at the borders without any accommodations, without any vehicles passing easily, because a lot of movement has taken place, is taking place, and things are getting little difficult in terms of logistics. So Poland is definitely helping the movement, but the numbers are swelling up each day. It is taking a lot of time for people to cross the borders and get inside.
Right, absolutely, Shivani. As you're mentioning, of course, it is bitterly cold in Eastern Europe right now, where Shivani is reporting from. She's been talking of temperatures that have plummeted to about -2 to 3 degrees. And that, of course, will only add to how countries look at this evacuation. Now, just a quick dispatch that we are getting from Kharkiv right now. According to preliminary information that we are just getting, what we are learning is that the tank school that is located in Kharkiv has been hit. And they have also detonated all the available ammunition. Details are now just emerging of the fighting that is taking place in Kharkiv.